Hello, I'm Sarah from Gear for Music, and today I'm with Senior Product Engineer Toby from Chauvet. How are you doing?
I'm good, you?
I'm good, thank you. So today we are going to go through atmospherics, so fog machines, haze machines, whether you're a mobile DJ and you want to get the most out of your lighting show, or you're having a party and you want to give it that really nice extra effect, these are the products for you. So Toby, what have we got here?
So I brought a selection of our fog machines. So we've got the entry level at the 700, then we've got the 1000, and then we've got the big 1600 for those larger events. We've also got a haze machine, so that's the Hurricane Haze 1DX for a thinner mist. I've also brought a Geysar P7, which is a CO2 effect, so it does a big jet and then disappears. And then the one everyone loves is the Hurricane Bubble Haze, which makes bubbles, but also fills them with haze. So when you pop them, you get this lovely little poof.
That is amazing, and I have seen it in person. It is great. So first off, what's the difference between a fog machine and a haze machine?
So a fog machine does a big plume of smoke, which generally disappears fairly quickly. It leaves some hanging around in the air, but you want a fog machine for that impact of what the smoke looks like. A haze machine is all about your lighting.
Okay.
So this really boosts up your effects of your beams and your spots, because when you see those aerial light beams, you only get them with a haze machine because you need the particles for the light to bounce off.
Oh, so that's when you see lasers going across the room?
Lasers are brilliant with a haze machine because you can get that nice scanning, all those thousands of dots and everything. So that's why you would really want to use a haze machine for your effects compared to a fog machine, which does a visual effect of its own. It does a big plume.
Cool. Can one product do both fog effects and haze effects?
No, because of the temperatures that they have to run at and the fluids they have to burn.
Right, okay.
It can be damaging to put the wrong fluid in the wrong machine. So we have to make fogs, because they normally burn hotter, separate to haze, because it has a different mixture.
Yeah. So talking about fog machines specifically, you said they give you that really nice kind of instant effect of white clouds of smoke. Is this the only type of fog machine I can get? What kind of?
We primarily do three varieties. So these are forward faces foggers. So they generate the cloud of fog from the front, and you can get them shooting into a crowd or have them either side of your booth and just a big cloud. But these ones are the CO2 effect. So it's a much more focused stream, but it goes further distance because it's got more power behind it and it dissipates really quickly. These are the kind of ones that you want for that instant oomph of effect where it's impactful and goes to the beat but doesn't linger around.
Yeah, and that's why you call that the Geysar, because it goes straight up. That's really cool.
And we spent a lot of time meaning you can mount this in any direction as well. So if you need it to shoot outwards, shoot downwards, or anything like that, you get all the options with that one.
So I could mount this to truss and...
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, we get a lot of clubs go for that kind of unit because it's just great to have it either side of the DJ booth, just coming down and then dispersing into the crowd.
That'd be really cool, to be fair.
And then the other one we do is low-lying fog, where we mix we actually use haze fluid in that one because it's lighter. We mix it with distilled water and it just brings all the fog down to the low levels. So, you know, when you want to do that dancing on the clouds for the first dance and that kind of effect.
Oh, okay, so you normally see that like at a wedding?
Yeah, often weddings and that kind of a event. A lot of Christmas period, people use them for kind of a winter wonderland kind of effect as well.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing you'd see in like the theatre. If walking on to do a big ballad.
Yeah,
cool.
Exactly.
So let's talk about haze machines. So you've got the 1DX here. What's that best used for?
So that one's, you want to use that for smaller size venues. We do a bigger one called the 4DX, which is much bigger, much larger venues. And you just want that one constantly pumping out. We give you variable control so you can adjust it to the venue you need or the level of density you need. But that one you just want to set up and just leave putting away, and it just fills up the room with just a fine mist. You don't get much visual from itself, you'll just see the mist coming out, but that's not what it's there for. It's there to boost your lighting rig and to make that really impactful. That is the perfect accessory for your DJ setup if you want it to fill more of the room than just where the light lands.
Cool, so this is meant to like work in the background. You don't necessarily know it's there, but you'll see the lights come in as a spectator from a DJ, and you can see the lights beaming from all the way across. Yeah,
it fills the room so much more. You get a lot of like Derby effects and lasers on the gig bar. They just produce little dots, so that's not very room filling. It covers a lot of the space and it looks really good, but if you really want it to fill that void above the crowd, if you add in the haze, you get all those beams and it just makes it feel like the rig's much bigger and that you've got a lot more lighting than you may actually have.
So mobile DJs really need a haze machine.
Yeah, I do.
So now let's move on to bubble haze.
So bubble haze is, you can use it as a hazer or a bubble.
Okay.
So if you want it just constantly streaming out the haze, you can do.
Nice.
So it will do the same job as the 1DX. But then you have the option of introducing the bubbles or shutting off the haze and having the bubbles. This is really just a big effects unit, so any excuse to get it out, everyone always loves seeing it, so it definitely draws in the crowd, and especially if you're doing a gig with small children, they're straight to it.
I'm not surprised. So you said the bubbles are filled with haze, so when you pop them, a plume of haze will come out.
Yes, yeah.
And then what happens to the haze after? Does it just kind of dissipate? Or?
It lingers slightly, not as much as it would do on the Haze 1D, because we put it in a chamber and cool it a bit, so part of its life cycle has already dissipated. But it does leave a general linger in it as well, so it will produce all the beam effects that you require.
Amazing. So Toby, you mentioned that haze machines, like the 1DX, like the bubble haze, mainly used to accentuate lighting shows. So if I'm a mobile DJ, I've got my lighting ready, what kind of light specifically do I need to get the most out of this haze machine?
All lights will have an effect on the haze. So if you're using a wash light, you get a general colour to the air and everything. But the ones you really want to be using with it is beam style units. So if that's a beam moving head, or if that's like a Derby effect where it does loads of individual beams, they're the ones that would work best with it. Lasers even more so, because they look absolutely fantastic in haze. But also units like your spot moving heads will benefit from it, because they do a nice big cone, especially if you put your gobos in and everything, that adds just more beams and a prism, and you're just suddenly flooding the entire space with light and shooting laser kind of effects.
And if I didn't use a haze machine, would I just see like dots on the wall?
Yeah, you'll just see the patterns that they're making. If you're using a smoke machine, you'll get an ever so slight lingering from these.
You'll still get something.
Yeah, but it's not quite the same as with a haze. A haze, you get to see the entire channel of light, whereas a smoke, because it's dissipating quicker, doesn't really emphasize it.
Do you find that most people use haze and fog machines together?
Yeah, so often you get people, they just set up the haze machine somewhere where it can just fill the room. Sometimes they put a fan behind it just to push it in further.
Oh, so, yeah, you can make it travel.
Yeah, because it will fill the room. It just takes a bit of time. That's normally, you set it going off at the start of the gig and just set it to a volume that will keep it going all the time. But then you get people who still want these kind of effects because it's that big impact as it goes into the crowd or anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the visual. People love playing in the smoke and everything. As long as you're the safe distance away from the unit, it's fine. It is water-based, so the temperature's quite low on them.
Okay, that's good. So is there a specific position I should put these machines in order to get the most out of the performance? For example, should I mount them? Should they be at the side?
They're very versatile in either, to be honest. These ones, because of the projection distance, you just want to make sure it's going to hit the area you're going to be. So often these are going to be near the front of the stage, or if you've got a booth on the top or pointing in or at the sides. Similar with the Geysars. Just, again, make sure you're the safe distance away. It's all in manuals of what that is. But because they can be interactive with crowds, you want these kind of units up front, whereas hazers are the ones that you can sort of put anywhere. It's just got to have the room where it's going to fill it in. That's why I say you might want a fan. If you've got a position where you really need it, you can use a fan to push it into the right location.
So just low-key, run in the background, put it at the back, don't think about it, it'll still give you that nice effect.
Yeah.
Cool. Whereas your smoke machines, you need that instant, so they need to be closer.
Yes, and again, and this unit as well is something you want people to be able to pop the bubbles. So this
that
is
very
definitely
true.
One to
kind of ruins it.
Close. Yeah, I recommend also rigging this high. It does have rigging options on top, so you get extra distance with them and more coverage.
Hey, if it's versatile, then we'll take it.
Yeah.
So I've bought myself a haze machine. I've bought myself a fog machine. How do I best take care of it? What's the best maintenance tips you can give?
So they all use, well, all of ours use a sugar-based fluid, which means if you leave it within the unit, it starts crystallizing. Which, as long as you're using the unit regularly, it's fine because it burns through, it vaporizes it, it clears it all out. But if you're putting it into storage or you've had it a while, it's always good to run either cleaner through it or distilled water. If you're not planning to use it in the next week or so, I recommend just running some distilled water. Has to be distilled because of the lack of minerals, and that will just clear it out. But if you want a more in-depth clean, and I recommend it, especially if you want your unit to have a long lifespan, then we do a cleaner, which is vinegar-based and breaks down all those crystals and clears it out and just keeps all the piping. That's what will end up taking out your unit if it has a malfunction, it's to do with the piping path that will go through, whether it's in the block or in the pump. So you really want to make sure that's clean of debris and sorted. But otherwise, as long as you're looking after them like that, they'll just keep going and going and going.
Good. So I shouldn't like buy one for a Halloween party, put it in the cupboard, forget about it for next year, and then think, oh, it'll be fine.
No, unfortunately, that does happen a lot. So if you are doing that, just run distilled water through it, and it will be fine. As long as you've cleared it out, so you just run it until you've got no haze. You'll know when you've hit distilled water because it dissipates straight away. And you can then just put it in the cupboard, and it should be fine until the next year.
Is that the same with these two, the hazes?
Yep, so anything that uses those kind of fluid products on the bubble, it actually has a clean cycle in it.
Oh,
so
nice.
You fill up the tub with distilled water, turn on the clean cycle, and it will just wash off all the bubble fluid and everything, so you're not left with gunk in there if you do leave it for a while.
It's just clever, isn't it?
Yeah, we try to make it easy for you.
So can I buy one type of fluid and have it work for all types of machines?
No, unfortunately, they do have separate fluids. We do a fog fluid for fog machines. It is a thicker fluid, so these machines are set to higher temperatures to burn it off. So if you put it in a haze machine, which is a thinner fluid, it will struggle to burn it and will potentially cause damage to your block and actually break your unit. We also do a quick dispersion fluid, which is designed to burn very quickly, but these units will struggle to burn it. Again, it's all down to the temperatures.
So these have been
you need to make sure you're getting the right fluid, and even manufacturers make their own fluids because it's calibrated to their blocks. So they're just trying to make sure that it's going to burn correctly, because if you start changing the thermals, it can wear out certain parts earlier, and you want to try and make your haze machine or smoke machine last as long as possible.
That's true.
About the care.
That's very true. You might as well. You've bought the machine, you've invested. You might as well get the right fluid for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So talk to me about these. Are these separate? Do any fog machines, haze machines come with remotes?
So a number of them do come with remotes or manual controls. So they've either got a big red button on the back or a dial on there. And as you can see, all these come with their manual remotes. These ones come with just basic fog.
Okay, so it's just on, off.
Yeah. Whereas if you get the FCT, it's a timer one, much more like that, where you can actually set constant, or so you can put a smoke machine on constant, so it's just clouding out. It fills the room quick. But you can also set duration, so every so many minutes it bursts off and people get used to that. So it gives you a lot more control rather than having to hook it up to DMX.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you don't have to worry about when is this going to go off, do I need to keep pressing on, off?
And then the one I always prefer is the wireless controller, just because if you're having your session or whatever, you've just got the remote there and you can just fire away and click it and whenever you want.
So Toby, you've been kind enough to talk me through all of these atmospherics. You've got your fog machines, haze machines, the Geysar, the bubble haze. I think we should see them in action. What do you think?
Yep.
Nice. So we're going to dim the lights. We're going to get the Geysar 2 going in the background so you can really see the difference that haze makes and fog makes in a light show. And let's have some fun. Okay, so the lights are down. We've got the Geysar 2 going, so we can really see how each of these machines differently reacts with the lights and how you can see the effects in the room. So Toby, which one are we starting with?
So if we start with the Geysar P7, I see you've got the remote there, so fire away.
I'm ready. Let's go. Okay. Oh, wow.
Yep, so it just does that burst straight up and then immediately starts dissipating out.
And it's got
of course, we got the LEDs on this one, so you get that nice coloured cone.
So we've got some different colours. Let's try some of these out. Well, that's plain.
Yep, this should be green. Yep.
There you go. And what's the last one? Blue. Oh, that's amazing. So you can mount this to truss and you can have it going down or sideways.
Down, sideways, over the audience, either side of the booth, whatever you fancy. It's just for that big burst and gone effect.
Amazing. And you can see it's already really started to dissipate.
Yep.
But even with a smoke machine, you can still see the derbies.
Yeah. But we're very close to this machine at the minute, so you'll notice a bit of time that'll start dissipating very quickly.
You see the beams just start to go and the smoke in the air. Amazing. So let's try some hurricanes.
So we'll start with the entry-level one, which is the H700. See, that's nice little just gentle puff. This is great for like really small venues or home time events, just when you want to fill up the room but not actually choke it out with smoke. And
you've got that really thick white fog.
Yeah. And then H1600, which is the big one. This is the more impactful effect. You see,
wow.
As you can see, that's a much bigger plume. It lasts a bit longer. And it also shoots further. So that's the one where it's more of a visual effect compared to like a haze machine for that just fill in the air.
And you can still see the effects of it even this on its own will still be nice. It'll still bring out something in your lights, and it always got that really nice effect.
Yeah, if you're just working with a smoke machine, you might find if you're trying to keep your beams going, you're just having to fire it again and again and again.
And that's when we really need the haze.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, we've done fog machines. Let's do some haze machines. So we're going to start with this one?
Yeah, little Haze 1D first. If you want to just turn on the manual control at the back. Just whack it all the way up.
Yep.
Yep. You probably hear it now. So with a haze machine, you've got a fan running constantly, and it does a mix of the fluid and air to give a much more gentle plume.
You can see it's just meant to be constantly running.
Just flutters out, and it'll just leave a long linger. So we refer to it as a hang time. So the hang time of the smoke in the air is much greater on those units.
Okay. You can already see it starting to fill the room. And
it doesn't really do the big plume that you get from these. It, as you can see from about a metre on, it's that nice fine mist.
Oh yeah, definitely. Nice.
Back it off now if you want.
Yeah, let's turn it off. Let's see how it affects the lights. Okay, the room is nice and hazy. So we can now see the lasers. You can see the beams going all the way across the wall. You can see the derbies and their individual lights going. Let's try the bubble haze.
Okay, certainly. So I'll just pop it on.
So this can be used as either bubble or haze?
Yep, so I put on bubble first and then just introduce the haze. And as you can see, it'll start filling them. I'll just put the fan up so it gives it a bit of distance.
Oh, this is amazing.
So yeah, you get a fan as well inbuilt to the unit, so you can get a lot of distance with it. But you can see they're all filled creamy white with the haze in the ball, and it just sort of makes plumes and hangs down.
Yeah, it's got really nice kind of hugging the surface effect. And this isn't going to be harmful, or?
No, it's all water-based still. You get a lot of control in how much haze you're putting in it as well. So if we're only on about 20% now, if we whacked it up to 100, they get really dense with the haze in the middle, so it looks a lot more thicker in there. It looks more white.
This is a proper showstopper. Like, this will kill any party. This is amazing. Okay, so there you have it. We have gone through all things atmospherics, fog machines, haze machines, the differences between the two, and why you really need an atmospheric in order to enhance your lighting setup or to just bring something extra to any party. Thank you so much, Toby, for coming in.
It's been a pleasure.
My favourite has been the bubble haze by far. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments and feel free to like and subscribe to our channel. See you later.